The sky over the base was unusually clear that night, the kind of clarity pilots both loved and feared. Stars burned sharply above the runway, and the air felt thin, almost brittle, as if something was about to break. Most of the night crew had settled into routine, monitors glowing softly, radios humming with static and distant chatter. Then, without warning, every radar screen froze, not flickered, not glitched, frozen. For exactly 3 seconds, nothing moved. And in aviation, 3 seconds of nothing is never nothing. When the screens came back, a single contact appeared far beyond restricted airspace. No transponder, no altitude lock. Just a raw signal punching through the system like it didn't care about limitations. The contact was climbing, fast. The duty officer leaned closer to the display, his stomach tightening. The object had already passed 50,000 feet. No conventional aircraft did that without announcing itself. No missile did it without burning bright on infrared. But this thing left no trail, no heat signature, no explanation. Someone whispered, "That's not possible." The alarm rang before anyone could answer. The scramble order went out instantly. One jet, one pilot. The call sign belonged to someone the base trusted when the sky stopped making sense. A veteran with thousands of hours. A man who had survived engine failures, mid-air collisions, and combat zones that didn't exist on maps. Call sign, Atlas 3. Atlas 3 was already moving before the hangar doors finished opening. His boots struck the concrete with controlled urgency. No panic, no wasted motion. The crew didn't speak much, they didn't need to. This wasn't a routine intercept. Everyone felt it. The jet came alive beneath him, metal vibrating as systems spun up. The canopy sealed with a dull thud that cut him off from the world. In that moment, it was just him, the machine, and whatever waited above. The afterburners ignited, and the jet tore down the runway, flames licking the night air. The wheels lifted, and the base fell away beneath him like it always did. Small, distant, fragile. At 20,000 feet, the climb felt normal. At 30, the air grew thinner. At 40, Atlas 3 noticed something strange. The stars were fading, not clouds, not weather. The sky itself seemed darker ahead, as if a shadow had been painted across space. His radar still showed the contact now nearly 60,000 feet and accelerating. Control, Atlas 3. I have the contact. Visual conditions unclear. No response. He tried again. Only static answered, deeper than usual, distorted in a way that made his jaw tighten. He switched frequencies, backup channels, emergency band, nothing. At 55,000 feet, the jet began to protest. Warnings flickered softly, not alarms yet, just reminders that humans weren't meant to live this high. That's when Atlas 3 saw it. At first, he thought it was his eyes adjusting. A shape darker than the surrounding darkness, suspended ahead of him. No movement, no sound, just there. As he closed the distance, the shape resolved into something massive. Not shaped like any jet he'd trained against, not sleek, not aggressive, more deliberate. It was long, angular, with smooth surfaces that bent light instead of reflecting it. No wings, no exhaust, no visible control surfaces. It looked less like an aircraft and more like an idea given form. Atlas 3 felt his pulse slow. Years of training took over. He attempted a lock. The targeting box danced for a split second, then vanished. His radar showed nothing, but his eyes told a different story. The object began to move, not forward, not backward. It drifted sideways, perfectly smooth, matching his altitude without any sign of thrust. The laws of aerodynamics screamed in his head, but the sky ignored them. The cockpit temperature dropped suddenly. His breath fogged the inside of the visor for a heartbeat. A low pressure settled over him, heavy, like descending underwater. Then the object rotated. Slowly, as it turned, faint lines appeared along its surface, glowing softly, not bright, not aggressive. Patterns emerged, geometric and precise, pulsing gently like a heartbeat. Atlas III's jet shook, not violently, not dangerously, like it was being tested. Warning lights blinked across the panel, electrical fluctuations, minor system faults. His HUD flickered, dimmed, then stabilized. He realized something unsettling. The object wasn't attacking. It was scanning. He banked slightly to the right, cautious, controlled. The object mirrored him, perfectly. Every adjustment, every correction, like it was connected to his movements before he even made them. "Control," he said quietly, forcing calm into his voice. "I am being paced. Static." The silence pressed harder than any G-force. Then the object did something that made his chest tighten. It moved closer. Close enough that Atlas III could see subtle details on its surface, fine textures, seams that didn't look manufactured but grown. The glow beneath it intensified, bathing his jet in a pale light. Every system alarmed at once. Altitude warnings, pressure alerts, sensor failures. His HUD went black. His helmet display followed. For the first time in his career, Atlas III was flying blind at extreme altitude. He switched to manual instinct, gripping the controls, feeling the jet through vibration and resistance. The aircraft still responded, sluggishly, like it was pushing through thick fluid. Then something happened that none of his instructors had ever prepared him for. A sound, not through the radio, not through the cockpit speakers, inside his head, calm, measured, not human, yet unmistakably intentional. "You are not cleared to proceed." Atlas III's throat went dry. He didn't answer. He didn't know how. The voice continued, not louder, not softer. "This airspace is not yours." The object drifted even closer. The glow intensified until it filled his canopy. His instruments died completely. Even the backup gauges fell silent. For several long seconds, there was nothing. No sky, no data, no sound, just Atlas III, suspended at the edge of the world, staring into something that did not belong there. Then, as suddenly as it began, it ended. The light vanished. The pressure released. The object shot upward, accelerating at an angle that made no sense, leaving no trail, no sonic boom, no warning. It simply folded into the darkness and was gone. His systems rebooted in a cascade of alerts. HUD online. Radar online. Comms crackled back to life in a burst of overlapping voices. "Atlas III, say again." "Atlas III, we lost you. Confirm status." He exhaled slowly, steadying his hands. "Atlas III is stable," he said, returning to base. The descent felt longer than usual. The world below seemed unfamiliar, as if the sky had subtly changed while he was up there. When he landed, the ground crew rushed in, faces tight with concern. No one spoke as they inspected the jet. One technician stopped near the forward fuselage, flashlight lingering on a specific spot. He didn't call out. He just stared. Atlas III followed his gaze. There, etched cleanly into the metal skin, was a symbol. Smooth, perfect, not burned, not scratched, as if the material itself had been rearranged. The same pattern he had seen glowing beneath the object. The hangar went quiet. The base commander arrived, studied the mark, then looked at Atlas III with an expression that carried too much understanding. "You heard it too," the commander said softly. Atlas III nodded. The commander exhaled. "This isn't the first time," he admitted. "And it won't be the last." Atlas III looked back at the sky through the open hangar doors. The stars were bright again. Peaceful, innocent, But he knew better now. Something was up there, not hiding, not attacking, watching.